So the sulci and gyri present on the superolateral surface. So in the frontal lobe, here you know that is the central sulcus is present, and anterior to it, that is the precentral sulcus is present, which is parallel to that the central sulcus, which starts from the superomedial border, which goes downwards and the forwards. Okay, then ventral to it there is the two sulcus are present, that is the this one here you can see, that is the two sulcus, that is the superior frontal sulcus and the inferior frontal sulcus. So between that the two frontal sulcus there is forming the three gyrus, that is the superior frontal gyrus, the middle frontal gyrus and the inferior frontal gyrus. Then between the central sulcus and the precentral sulcus there is forming the gyrus, that is called the precentral gyrus. Then posterior to that the central sulcus again a sulcus is present, so that is called the post central sulcus, and between the central sulcus and the post central sulcus that the gyri is present, it is called the post central gyri. After then, so here that is the lateral sulcus, and this lateral sulcus it should be gives the two ramus, that is this is the anterior ramus and this is the ascending ramus. So because of that is the two ramus, the inferior frontal gyrus it should be divided into the three part. So part which is present below to that the anterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, so this part it is called the pars orbitalis. Then the part which is present between the anterior and the ascending ramus, so this triangular part it is called the pars triangularis, and the part which is present posterior to that the ascending ramus of the lateral sulcus, means this area, it is called the pars opercularis. So because of presence of that is the ascending and the anterior ramus, that is the inferior gyrus is divided into the three part. So that is this is the pars orbitalis, pars triangularis and the pars opercularis. Then after then let's see that is the parietal lobe. So the parietal lobe it is divided into the superior parietal lobule and the inferior parietal lobule by this interparietal sulcus, this one. Then in temporal lobe, so this one. So in the temporal lobe two sulci are present which runs parallel to each other. So these are the superior temporal sulcus and the inferior temporal sulcus, and because of the two temporal sulcus that the temporal part it is divided into that the three gyri, that is the superior temporal gyri, the middle temporal gyri and the inferior temporal gyri. So this one. After then the superior surface of the superior temporal gyri it present two transverse temporal gyri. Then in the occipital lobe, so here the occipital lobe possesses three short sulci. So here you can see 1, 2 and the 3. So first it is the lateral sulci, second one it is the transverse occipital sulci, and third one that is the lunate sulci. So here you can see that is the lunate sulci, this is the lateral occipital sulci, and this one transverse occipital sulci. So these three sulci that should be present into that the occipital lobe. Then let's see the sulci and gyri which is present on the medial surface. Then the sulci and gyri which is present on the medial surface. So here you can see that is the medial surface. So first that is the cingulate sulcus. So this one, that is the large sulcus is present here. It is called the cingulate sulcus. So it is the most prominent sulcus which follows the curves about 1 centimeter above and parallel to the upper convex margin of the corpus callosum. So here you can see that is the corpus callosum and it is 1 centimeter above and forming that the dome shaped sulcus. So it is called the cingulate sulcus. Then the area between the cingulate sulcus and the corpus callosum. So this area, it is called the cingulate gyrus, this one. Then the callosal sulcus or the callosal sulcus. So this one, callosal sulcus. So this is sulcus, it separate the cingulate gyrus from the corpus callosum. So here in this border, upper border of the corpus callosum, here that the sulcus is present, that is the callosal sulcus. Then the next one, that is the calcarine sulcus. So calcarine sulcus, already we had seen, it starts from the posterior part of the corpus callosum, then goes upwards, then backwards, and cuts, that is the superomedial border. So this one, so this is the calcarine sulcus. Then the calcarine sulcus, it is also termed as the isthmus. Then the parieto-occipital sulcus. So this one, this sulcus is already seen, that is the parieto-occipital sulcus. So it is starts from the part of the calcarine sulcus, goes upwards laterally, and it is attached to the superomedial border of the cerebrum. So this one, so that is the parieto-occipital sulcus. Then a triangular area which is present between the calcarine sulcus and that is the parieto-occipital sulcus. So this one, so this triangular area, it is called the cuneus. This one, this is the cuneus. Then the quadrangular area which is present between the parieto-occipital sulcus, so this one, and the post central lobule, this one, this is the post central or the paracentral lobule. So this quadrangular area, it is called the precuneus. So here you can see, this is the precuneus. Then a small sulcus a little above and parallel to that the splenium, it is called the suprasplenial sulcus. So here that is the small sulcus is present, that is called the suprasplenial sulcus. This one here you can see, this is the suprasplenial sulcus. So it separate the precuneus from the cingulate gyrus. So here that is the cingulate gyrus. So it should be divides, or it should be separate the precuneus, that the quadrangular area, from that is the cingulate gyrus. Then the sulci and gyri which is present on the inferior surface. So here this is the inferior surface. Then first, that is the olfactory sulcus. So here that is the olfactory bulb and the olfactory tract is present. So it is the straight sulcus which runs antero-posteriorly close to the medial border of the orbital surface. So here on the medial side, both side, that is the olfactory tract. So on this region, that is the vertical antero-posterior sulcus is present, and which is hidden because of that is the olfactory tract, this one. So that is called the olfactory sulcus. Then the area medial to this sulcus, it is called the gyrus rectus. So this one, that the area, it is called the gyrus rectus. So this one area, here you can see. Okay, then lateral to that the olfactory tract, there is presence, that is the H-shaped sulcus. So that is called the orbital sulcus, and because of that the H-shaped sulcus, it should be formed, that is the 4 gyrus is present, that is the anterior orbital gyrus, that is the posterior orbital gyrus, that is the lateral orbital gyrus. So in this way it should be forming, that is the 4 gyrus, that is the anterior, posterior, lateral and the medial. After then the tentorial part of the inferior surface. So here that is the tentorial part. So it should be forming the 2 major sulci. So here you can see on both sides, that is the 2 sulci are present. That is the medial one, it is called the collateral sulcus. So here you can see, this is the large sulcus, that is the collateral sulcus. The lateral large sulcus is present, it is called the occipitotemporal sulcus. So here, then posteriorly, that is the collateral sulcus. So here this is the collateral sulcus. The posteriorly the collateral sulcus, it is parallel to that the calcarine sulcus, and here that the area between these two sulci, it is called the lingual gyrus. So this one, this area, it is called the lingual gyrus. Then anteriorly to the lingual gyrus, there is continuous with the parahippocampal gyrus. So this one, anterior part, so it is called the parahippocampal gyrus, just medial to that the collateral sulcus. So this area and this area, that is the parahippocampal gyrus. Then the anterior end of the parahippocampal gyrus shows a hook shaped sulcus. So here on both sides, here the hook shaped sulcus is present, it is called the rhinal sulcus. And these hook like anterior end of the parahippocampal gyrus, it is called the uncus. So here you can see, that is the uncus. So that is the parahippocampal gyrus, and this is the hook shaped rhinal sulcus. So between these, that area, it is called the uncus. Then posterior to that the parahippocampal gyrus, it is continuous with the cingulate gyrus through that the isthmus. Then the area which is present between the occipitotemporal sulcus, laterally collateral, and the rhinal sulcus medially. So this one, so this area lateral to that this temporal sulcus, occipitotemporal sulcus, it is called the lateral occipitotemporal gyrus. So here this one, and the part which is present medial to that the occipitotemporal sulcus, so this area, it is called the medial occipitotemporal gyrus, this one. So these are the sulci and gyri which is present on the inferior surface of the cerebrum. The functional areas of the cerebrum. So the surface of the cerebral cortex, it was demarcated by the Brodmann into that the 47 areas according to their functions, and the types of cortical areas according to classical teaching, that the 3 types of the functional area, most of the 3 types of the functional area. First, that is the motor area. So here you can see, so that is called the primary motor area, this one, 4 number. So primarily it is concerned with the all the motor functions. Then the sensory area. So sensory area is primarily concerned with the sensory function. So here somatosensory area, this one. And the third one, it is the association area. It is not concerned with primary motor or the sensory function, but have the more important associative, integrative and cognitive function. Then the function, let's see the functional area present on the frontal lobe. So here, so first the primary motor area, 4 number, Brodmann. So the primary motor area, it is located into that the precentral gyrus. So you know that is the central sulcus and that is the precentral sulcus. So between that it's forming that is the precentral gyrus. So in this area, that is the 4 number or the primary motor area, it should be present. Okay? Then about 40% of the pyramidal or the corticospinal fibers, they are arises from this area. Then the area, it is responsible for the movement in the specific part of the body. Only movements are represented in the area and not the muscles. Then the next is the premotor area, or that is the area of 6 number. So this one, the premotor area. So it is located anterior to that the primary motor area and the posterior part of superior, middle and inferior frontal gyrus. Then this area, it is responsible for performance of voluntary motor activities initiated into that the primary motor area. So this one. Then the next is the frontal eye field or the area 8 number. So this one, 8 number area. So this area called the frontal eye field area located into the posterior part of the middle frontal gyrus, and it is responsible for the conjugate movements of the eye to the opposite side. So that is the main function which is done by this area 8 number. Then the motor speech area, that is the 44 and the 45. So these two area. So this area located in the pars triangularis, that is the 45, and the pars opercularis, that is the 44. Then this area, it is mostly responsible for